Okay, so here we are, a little bit later than the previous video. This is a week later. I've now printed all the missing parts for the greebles, which I was missing a couple of these pieces. I was missing some of these. I've now glued them together. I've only slightly sanded them down just to get them to roughly fit. These were printed before, but they came out very nicely. I've started assembling various bits and pieces, so that's part of the body. This is part of the legs, this section here, but this section, as you can see, is part of the body. This is part of the front vent system, just to show you how that goes together. It's fairly, I was wondering how all the parts go together. I'm not sure if there is a drawing on this, but I was just looking at the 3D Autodesk version of it, so you can sort of work it out from there. But that's that section. These are the side sections. They just go on under the arms. Those bits of the supports. I'll put it on the main frame in a minute. You can see how that works. So that's that one. Slightly different. One's got back and it's got a different cutouts. This section, which is the rear, goes under the door. It's part of the door. It's the rear back. Goes together like that. As I say, this is just sitting in there at the moment, so I can take all this part, this bit apart again, so I can paint it. But I just tried it in there, so it just sort of holds in there. It's got that piece that goes in the back there. And where they come apart is that and that. So it's just a three-piece section. Got these pieces, and that comes apart. These have got different slots in the back. As you can see, which line up with these slots, which line up with the little brackets in the main body, which again I'll show you in just a second. I've got these pieces left and right. So that's all the little bits and pieces I've finished off. I've been doing the door, which I'll show you, which I'm not totally happy with. As you can see, there's huge gaps in it. But I'm going to either reprint it or try filling this in and seeing how it goes. But it's not. I haven't even. It hasn't lined up there at all, and it's actually dropped down a bit. So. That's not really a success on the back door, but that's the section that goes in. I think there's meant to be a couple of magnets in there, so that would slot in there. So I'm gonna try and fill all of this and see how it goes. I mean, it might work. Inside you've got the slot. There's a bar that goes on here that I haven't actually worked out yet, and then there's a slot that goes through there, which holds that piece in. That inner door in. So those are all the smaller, the bits and pieces. I'll show you how they actually go on the main body. Okay, so here's the back of R2D2 sitting on my little portable trolley. The lower section sits in there, and then we've got the door. Section is going to go on, and that, from what I can work out, actually will attach to this lower section. I've just got it held on with some plastic. I know some people have put magnets at the top. Just pan up so you can see the top of the door. I know some people have put magnets on just to hold that top frame in, but there is the bolt that holds this section in, and I think it actually clamps further down, but I haven't actually sort of looked at any of that at the moment, so I'm sort of working through the parts as I get there. Just moved the camera forward and taken off the back door, as you can see, just to show you what happens inside the sections. We've got the lower door piece, as I was just showing it, that just sits in there at the moment. But in here, if I just move up, I've just been putting in some of these, just testing to see how they go in. Got these rear clamps in there. There's another piece in there, 2 bits in there, which I'll come round to in a minute. Got this rear bit in there. I've just swung the unit around and dropped the camera down. We've also got this piece, as you can see, that's going to just slot in there. There's a door on there which I haven't printed at the moment. There's a door that goes in there I haven't printed, or I've printed, I haven't assembled. On the sides, on these sides, we've got the various sections that are going to go in there. For example, that will go into that one. I won't put it in for the moment because I think it's just it's going to fall. I'll leave that in there. You've got these sections that are going to go into there. Now in the back of there is a bracket that will slot onto those things, so I think that will go on in from the inside. So we're going to paint this and actually glue that together and just assemble that inside and see how that slots in there. That's going to go in there. We've got the doors that are going to go in. These sections that are going in with these bolts are in the way at the moment, which you can just see, which will go through there. That's going to go underneath the arm. We've got these pieces which will go in there. I'm not sure which one that is. Oh, that's the back one, so that will go in like that. This one's the front, side one, that goes in there. And as you can see, that section goes in there. That one slots in there. As I say, there are bolt holes in there which line up with these bolt holes at the bottom, which you can see. Let's just move the camera up there. You can see better at the back there, lining up on that. You can also see the way these will line up. That bit slots into a slot there, so that will glue together, and I think you just screw that in from the back. So we've got a front section, one of these. Bring that right down. This goes in, that locks in there from what I can see. Yeah, it locks in like that. Which lines up with a hole in there, so that goes in there. And I think those are the main bits I've done so far. So a lot of this I think is probably time to paint it, because then I can finish it off and glue it a bit more, because I can't really glue until I've completely painted some of these pieces. We've got the, if I pan up, so obviously the leg section will go in there. I've also, I'll show you the leg actually, as you can see, which you saw. Not sure if that's the left or right leg. Well, that will go in there. If I was going to print the static shoulder, which I might do, just so I've got something to put the legs onto. While because I know there's the design for the whole moving mechanism, but I might actually just print the static system and see if I can retrofit the rest of it later, but I'm not sure actually. So as I say, I haven't even looked at that. So that's one of the legs. I've also finished printing and gluing. Most of this was printed on the previous section of this video, but I haven't actually stuck it all together yet. I'll just pan back and show you the base. Okay, here's the base skirt which we saw earlier, which I've now glued together because previously it was just in bits. Also, these are the nut brackets, so they'll sit under there, that way around, and just hold the nuts in, which will then line up with the bolts in the lower ring. So that will slot through the lower ring, and that will just nut and bolt to it.